Hello and welcome everyone to a new Heroes of Mana Magic free video, where in this one we're going to be going over every single change to Jebus Outcast in the new version and how that will actually impact the game. And Jebus Outcast, for any of you that are unaware, is a template made by MKC, and in its current iteration it is actually made for one hero gameplay. So if you like chill games, if you don't really like stressing out over chains or playing with 8 heroes, then this is the format for you. And yeah, let's get right into the changes. The first changes that we'll be going over are the actual additions to the map. First of all, we have the underground bunkers in every single biome right now. They will be pretty heavily guarded, not as much as your Desert God, but like a little bit lower, still a very considerable fight. And what you're going to be finding in the bunker is going to be an extra town from your starting faction, as well as a box with every single spell in the game. To make use of this, you're of course going to be need wisdom, but if you have wisdom, then this is a really good payoff and a very consistent way in order to get yourself every spell that you need. And of course, control is the main primary thing that you're looking for in almost any Jebus Outcast match. So this will make you a lot more consistent if you go for it. A pretty solid addition. Having more of these choices on where you go and how you progress is very nice. Then also the large variant of the map was added to the template, meaning that you can actually just press large or extra large in the map creation screen instead of having to load up a different template in order to have this option. So far so good. Then another thing that was added is now in every single biome we have 3 to 6 tier 5 dwellings that are now generated. For conflicts, we instead have 3 elemental conflicts, which is probably even better than the, the other tier 5 dwellings. What this means is that we can actually opt to go for different kind of power stacks. For example, mini Gorgons being available for Fortress is really strong. Monitors, even without the Monitor dwellings right now, are usually a power stack as well. 1 or 2 bosses of them is already insane, and if you can actually build some, then that is amazing. So there's gonna be more army variety due to this. A very solid, good change. Then another thing that will change is the way that the side towns are generated in every single biome. If you're not aware, then there are currently 3 side towns in your biome when you start the match. So 4 towns in total in the zone. The main zone that you start with, one of the side towns is your own faction, and then there used to be 2 random towns, but now these 2 random towns are no longer random. One of them is the town from the opponent's faction, and the other town is the desert town, the middle desert town. So basically in your biome you're able to immediately tell what the middle is going to be, the faction of the middle, which is honestly amazing. And then the last change for the map is the fact that every single box in the overground is army. No more SP, no more spells. You see a box and you know it is most definitely army. And that should also make the game higher paced, more consistent, and honestly, probably quite a bit more fun. And I feel like these changes are very nice. I also have the Tribunal here with me that will be giving their input on every single section that is changed on the map. That is going to be Ruffy and Feral. Hey guys!
Hey Lexi, hey Rafi, how you guys doing?
Good, good.
Hello. Yes, I have not talked to you before this video. Hello everyone. By the way, you probably never heard my voice, so I'm Bufanzor, I'm also Lekshav's editor. Hi.
Yeah,
so basically we upgraded Ame with a better version in Rafi, so it's great to have him here.
I feel insulted just by the comparison.
I mean, just to go through some of the changes you're talking about, just with regards to the map and some of the key things to take away here. I definitely think they're very positive changes in that often we've seen, especially in the JR tournament that just been completed on JO, that breaking early into the desert and taking that risk to get there often doesn't get the reward that it deserves by not finding the control spells that you're looking for, and in a sense you're not really rewarded for having that high tempo play. This definitely counters that, especially with the underground or spellbox zone. So I think that's absolutely fantastic, as well as reducing some of the RNG in the game with your side towns. I mean, if you get a dungeon side town or castle side town randomly, that gives you a huge advantage of your opponent, and now that is kind of not there anymore, and so there's a lot less sudden luck factors that can side a game. So I'm really happy with a lot of these map changes.
Yeah.
I think some of the things that the creator of the template went for, which is MKC, is that he wanted to try to make all the play styles viable based on your current situation. You can go full tempo because of the boxes. You can actually get the magic hero because of the wisdom being very good now since you get a full spell box. And also the change with the tier 5 dwellings will be very, very impactful, I think.
Yeah, all in all, I feel like these changes don't really remove any available playstyles, but rather add to the pool of the things that you can do. So it's, I would say, a really healthy change. So, yeah, let's get on to the next section of the things that are changed. Now we'll talk about the heroes. There's an array of heroes that are removed and also added. The returned heroes are Orrin, Adela, Rylan, Marius, Aislinn, Dimir, Aiden, Andra, Elishar, Yulon, Asha, and Verdish. Meanwhile, the removed ones are Beatrice, Miriam, Munir, Torosar. We should probably go over these one by one and, try and think of the reason and the way that it will change things as they are. So, first up is Orrin. Orrin, I think, returning is super exciting. Honestly, the archery specialist in this kind of template, and especially in a faction that mostly relies on cheaters, is actually a really big deal. He's not really that viable in other versions, but here I feel like he will shine. What do you guys think?
For me, I'm more interested in the heroes that would remove more so than the ones that are being returned, because a lot of the removed ones are the current primary choice for Castle. It's Beatrice, for Cove it's Miriam, and for Flux it's often Monair. So having those three removed is definitely going to change the way those three factions are being played at the moment. So I think that's going to be very impactful. And I mean, we got my boy Aislinn back, so I'm really keen to play Necro now. He's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
Going town by town, starting with Castle. So basically, it's Orrin and Adela being added while Beatrice is being removed. Orrin and Adela are competing with Diris and Solskjaer, I think, right now. With
Yeah.
how the games have been played so far.
Yeah.
So, thinking of the magic heroes of Castle, the clerics, the only good one would be maybe Loinis, but he sucks anyway.
Yeah.
So, depending on how the games will end up being played, if
Actually, I
magic.
think. Sorry.
Go?
I think that Loinus is actually not available in the template anyway.
Oh, he's not. Okay, my bad then.
I feel like you actually would be good if he was here.
It would be Adela or Adelaide as the magic heroes options for Castle, and if the meta develops in such a way that proves to be very efficient with the wisdom, I think Adela will be preferred because getting a lot of magic stats and also guaranteed all spells with Diplo can be very, very powerful.
Yeah, skipping a little bit of hate here, but Diplomacy is actually back to 50%, so it's actually a really viable pick. So Adele being back is a huge deal because of that. But of course, we will have to see how the meta develops. In the early days of the meta, it used to be like really low tempo, with capitals being built pretty much every game, with scouting being emphasized and so on. But these days, people go like more Alkin, more Sorsha, just smoking through the map. If these changes cause the meta to slow down a little bit, then these will be actually very compelling choices.
I think Orrin as a new option is good in combination with the tier 5 dwellings being added, because you can get 2 power stacks of ranged creatures instead of only 1 right now.
Yeah. I mean, monks also spawn on boxes like pretty often, and that is already huge as well.
Okay. Do you think he's better than Tiris and Sorsha?
Yeah, for the most part. I feel like almost every single successful game of Castle is usually played around ranged power stacks, and emphasizing the powered ranged power stacks for Orrin is a very big deal.
Just quickly, can someone just remind me, what does Orrin start with? I have just drawn a complete blank.
Leadership archery, and he's the archery specialist.
Okay. All right, and also given that all boxes are now army, more chance of getting archer army. You could probably tempo hard with Orrin then. Okay, I'm with you
Yeah.
guys. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, having at level 20, he's gonna be dealing literally double damage with his shots. That's honestly nuts to even think about. Insane. Yeah, also, I would say that, yeah, a bigger spotlight should also go to Asen and Dime. Meteor Shower is making a return, skipping a little bit ahead here as well. And with Meteor Shower be coming back, the specialists for these spells are also coming back. So from the very early game, you are able to Meteor Shower things, and that's pretty good. However, Solmir, despite being the tower faction not being really competitive with heroes, despite this, Solmir didn't see really much play. Then because Dungeon actually has even more compelling choices, I don't really see them being picked that often, but possibly. Wisdom Push also makes does a little bit for this as well.
I think having Aislinn back is far more impactful than what Dima will see. I think Necro don't have a good hero to start with at the moment. They don't really have someone who just. I mean, Tamika is usually the go-to, but even so, I mean, she's not that great. I mean, let's be honest here. So Aislinn, I think, will give them a bit of variety there, at least getting started. But I also want to know that since it's an all-spell box in this underground bunker, I think it's called, how impactful is having Meteor Shower to start really at the end of the day? By midweek 2, you'll probably have that all-spell box in any case. So are you really going to see much use of a Meteor Shower starting hero? Maybe one or
Yes,
two packs for that product?
I would say that the being able to take that one big fight that will get you the boss that will farm the rest of it is very impactful. And then steamrolling the map forward with that is also like pretty good. I mean, it's probably good, but we'll have to see. Testing is needed to make opinions more solid.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to the next section. The artifacts. There are a few artifacts coming back into the game. That is the teapot coming back. And honestly, this one is a spicy one. We used to not have like the best artists in the game, such as the teapot and Sword of Judgment. Right now, Sword of Judgment came back, and now finally the teapot came back. That brings back the possibility of assembling the Angelic Alliance as well. Wow! Now the Orb of Silt is coming back, and the Orb of Firmament is coming back. Meanwhile, oh wait, no. Removed artifacts, Armor of Wonder, no Angelic Alliance for us. Also, Pendant of Dispassion is being removed, so Fire Magic is going to be more consistently good. And Shackles of War is being removed because it's literally, very literally, useless in this play format. Yeah. I would say that these items coming back actually makes me a little bit scared that the casting might become a little bit too meta again. With Orb of Silt and Orb of Firmament and plus 6 all, you can get to ridiculous damage on your Meteor Shower or Chain Lightning to the point that army might be a little bit underwhelming by this point.
For me personally, I'm really glad to see Teapot. And for those who don't know what a Teapot is, that's the Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment, the +6 all-stat helm. I'm really glad to see that back. I think helms right now didn't really have very many great options. I mean, you had the +4 spell power, +4 knowledge helm, but that was about it in terms of stats. Spellbinders was useful, but I don't think that's going to be very useful anymore. So having the +6 is a huge change, I think, in terms of artifact. And Overflow plus Meteor Shower coming back. Yeah, we got some magic creeping into JO, so that's going to be interesting. But I'm most excited for this Orb of Firmament because that means my boy Solmi is going to see more play. I don't care what anyone says. That means we're going to see a lot more chain lighting, and that makes me happy with life.
Okay, fair.
I think that the combination of adding Meteor Shower and the spell ball and these 3 relics, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It means that you will get a very consistent power level that you wouldn't be guaranteed before.
Yeah.
So it kind of reduces the RNG. You know that if you want, you will have a very high chance to get all spells and the the stats artifacts that you might want. That makes Dopes better as well, so I think it also makes Might Heroes better as well. So it's a really nice all-around change, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to mention, I forgot, from the heroes being added, we have Andra and Eleshar, which have intelligence specialty. And since intelligence is banned in this format. What do you guys think? Will they be good or not?
I think
And
intelligence
they
isn't banned, unfortunately.
It's removed if you in this patch.
Oh, this patch! Yeah, okay. Yeah, skipping a little bit ahead here again, no problem.
Oh,
Yeah, actually, in that case, I would say that the mana pool actually was really important back when elemental summons were the actual meta of how to take final battles. I feel like this patch actually addresses that and removes that option. And because of that, big mana pools probably don't matter as much. So I'm not really too excited about them.
all right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
But
yeah.
I think we all need to just take a moment of silence because shackles of war have been removed. You're going to go to the desert and you're no longer going to see those 20 angels guarding two shackles. I think that's really sad. So that is something I'm going to miss from the bottom of my heart. But it had a good run and it did well while it lasted.
Yes, indeed. So now, for I think the meatiest part of the entire changes, the spells, okay? Now, the biggest issue for people in the last patch of Jebus Outcast used to be that almost every single battle would come down to elemental spam to a bigger or a lesser extent, and that made the final fight somewhat boring and potentially really long, and potentially even abusive, to the point that the army didn't matter too much. So the spell changes here are gonna be making it so that elemental spams are no longer gonna be deciding whatever happens in the final battle. And yeah, let's get into how MKC actually addresses it. The returning spells are Summon Air Elementals, Counter Strike, Meteor Shower, Protect from Earth, Firewall, Weakness, Mirth, and Fortune. I would say that the notables are going to be Air Magics and, Air Elementals and Meteor Shower. Potentially, to a lesser extent though, the Protection from Earth, and then the remove spells are Water and Fire Elementals. Yeah, so the way that I think this is actually gonna play out is the fact that we have Chain Lightning, which is dealing double damage to the Air Elementals, not to mention, the Air Elementals have less HP from in the very first place. That means that there's a really good counter available to Air Elementals, the kind of counter that wasn't available to either Fire or Water Elementals. And because of this, now a Might hero that is pushing like Army or Tempo is not gonna just flat out die to a big mana pool, which I think is really exciting and very, very healthy for the game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. I don't think I thought that elementals were going to be as big as they've become in the current meta, but it's true that with 30, 40 spell power, you can summon a single stack of fire or water elementals that was more impactful than any other army on the field. So I'm really glad with this change and that it kind of changes that meta completely. And as you said, with air elementals, even if you could summon 200 of them, they could die to one chain lightning. So there's a very obvious and easy counter for them in the game. And I think Protector from Earth is actually going to be really important here to stop your army from dying to Meteor Shower now that that's back. So I think that could be quite useful. And we've also seen a lot of Sorrows cast in final battles, which, even though it's a bit of a meme spell, it actually does have an impact. So Protection from Earth does give you some more utility as well. So that's going to be really nice to see. I'm very happy with the spell change. I think it's good and healthy for the game.
Protection from Earth doesn't protect from Sorrow though, but okay.
Okay, well then I don't know what I'm talking about, but go with it, okay?
Yeah, the Protection from Earth is pretty interesting because the best offensive spellcast used to be Chain Lightning, so if you were to go into a battle and cast Protection from Air, you're actually kind of protected against most good, decent offensive casts. And yeah, now you have to judge what the opponent has and be, it turns into a guessing game, which I actually feel is pretty fun.
Speaking about Feral blundering information, I am sad that the fire elementals are removed because now Alagar will be even weaker. But the addition of these many spells, especially the ones that you don't really want that much, like Firewall, Fortune, Counter Strike, it means that building Mage Guild is probably completely irrelevant with the box as well.
Yeah.
But you will have a few more options for water, although I think water will not be prioritized at all. I think it will be just air and earth again. I think air will be the strongest
Yeah,
school of magic by far.
air was already necessary for double dimension door, and now there's more incentive towards it. I would say that actually water magic is gonna be still the best school of magic in order to approach the map, being out to outspeed neutral creatures, being able to bless your army in the early game. So yeah, water is the best PvE, fire is situational PvP, air is necessary.
Do you think that water will still be better than Earth, considering Earth has Stone Skin, Shield, and Meteor Shower now, and Quicksand, which is just messed slow?
I would say that water gives you the most utility out of any of the schools. You got Dispel and Prayer. The only movement speed thing, and Dispel is always useful. So in terms of utility, I still think water is best. And on a note on fire, the anti-berserk necklace is now removed from the game. So if you get fire magic and you have berserk, there is effectively no real counter the enemy can do. That's still a super powerful and impactful school of magic. So I think all of them have uses, but I do agree that air is probably the strongest just because of double DD. But they all are, I think, in a pretty decent place where none of them are unusable right now.
Yeah. The current meta for Schools of Magic is that every single hero gets 3 Schools of Magic, usually air, earth, and then whatever one of either water or fire. And I feel like the School of Magic meta is going to be staying about the same, though the way that the game plays out is still going to be different.
Yeah, people started to calculate every level up, and they do not pick side skills if they didn't interfere with the School of Magic progression. That might be changed with the magic heroes because they get Schools of Magic more often, so it will be a nice pivot if they become important.
So, okay. On to the last section of the patch notes. Now we have the skills, okay? So the one and most important thing that is happening is that diplomacy is making a comeback and is boosted up to 50% more. Now, you see, the reason it was nerfed to 25% is because it used to be like really overpowered compared to any other way to generate army. However, as the meta developed, the tempo got way faster and faster to the point that actually the game is not slow paced enough to make good use of diplomacy because you can't build up enough gold, you can't actually play the game on for long enough many turns in order to actually get it used anymore. So actually diplomacy, even at 50%, is probably not OP anymore with the current tempo of the game. So it's back to 50%, and now we have another compelling way to actually build a power stack in the late game, and that's really, really exciting. And in order to secure diplomacy for every faction, artillery, mysticism, and intelligence are removed from the choices for your level ups, meaning that almost every single hero in the game is guaranteed diplomacy by the end of their skill tree.
Yeah, I mean that's also a change that I'm quite interested to see how it plays out. And I think removing artillery, mysticism, and intelligence is pretty much removing 3 of the pretty much undesirable skills you'd want on any hero. So in general, overall heroes are going to have a lot more skills that you want, and it's going to be easier to get the skills that you want. So that definitely opens up a lot of possibilities, especially when choosing a main hero. You know that you might choose someone that ordinarily didn't have the best starting skills because you know they're going to level them likely during the game, and you could go for some very niche plays as a result of that. And Diplo being back is going to be interesting as well. I mean, Diplo can, in a single turn, completely change the entire tempo of a game. And I've been hurt by you deploying a lot of things, Lexi, so I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it, but I still think it's good to have another late game option in a way to approach a map. So these skills are going to have, I think, a bigger impact pretty much than compared to most of the other things that have happened in the patch notes. So it's going to be very interesting to see it play out.
Yeah.
I am personally a little bit scared of all these things that are considered weak being removed, because it can create a formulaic approach to the game, and having bad skills in video games and having stuff that you don't want actually adds a layer to strategy, in my opinion. It increases your it lets you show your ability to adapt to your surroundings and to what the game offers you. So I am scared that with all these changes, everything being good, etc., it means that everyone will do the same thing, which is considered the strongest, and of course there will be a lot of patches to fix that, but just a little bit of
Yeah, fair
you know.
concerns, fair concerns. Still, the game is gonna be, you can actually pick up many of these banned skills with your starting hero, since most of your starting heroes that actually start with some of these skills that might potentially be good, such as the intelligence specialist, you can actually pick them up in other ways. But, the way that meta develops, we can't really predict, we can only react and, change based on that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that as well. I think this patch, in a way, is targeting to make the game a little bit more in terms of competitive. In the competitive scene, to make sure a little bit more balanced. They're trying to move some of the RNG factors. But I mean, I may be completely wrong. We're gonna have to see how it develops. And MKC is a template god, so I'm sure he'll adjust accordingly as the meta appears.
Yeah, MKC has been very involved with the community in terms of the way that Jebus Outcast was received and where he actually wants to take it. He's in streams of most of the people that actually play it, he hears their concerns, and he's trying to improve the template in any way that he sees fit. And I feel like he's doing a good job, and you can expect him to do a good job moving forward as well, for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. It basically allows you to do whatever you think is good for your game. You can be like, oh, I have a great mid town, I can build there. Like if it's a castle in the middle, from your biome, you can rush middle and get an Archangel stack or something.
Yeah, there's a lot
Probably
of...
not Archangel, but
Yeah, I feel MKC is a very experienced map maker, and because of this, he can actually employ these kind of traits in order to give more clarity to what's going on, to the entire game, and so on. And I feel like this is pretty well crafted so far. So, yeah, that's gonna be rounding up the changes for Jebus Outcast. The download link is going to be in the description below, as well as the document where you can actually see all these changes, as well as the online rules that you can use to play yourselves. This form of game style is actually really popular in the online lobby, so you can actually go pop in and play a Jebus Outcast, a game of Jebus Outcast yourself on the Hoda ladder. And honestly, the fact that it got this popular is nothing short of amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll be seeing you next time. Also, thank you to Ruffy and Farrell for joining me in this one.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for having us, Lexi. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.